Hello everyone, welcome to a quick edition of Detour B4 the Storm, that is Chris's Chaos. I'm your host Chris Cortez, just covering a quick bit of news information that we need to go over. Let's talk about it. Today is August 20th, 2024. That is Tuesday. We've just been through a weekend full of G1 Climax playoffs, and it was great to watch. It was a lot of fun, but what we need to discuss real quick is the big kind of blast of news that circulated around social media surrounding different information, different news articles. Let's get right into it. So, Zack Sabre Jr., what we're hearing is that he is challenging for the IWGP title earlier than expected. He's planning to challenge whoever is the champion at King of Pro Wrestling. He's not going after it. Now, it was very confusing at the time when we were all watching G1 Climax in the finals. It made it sound like he was going after some kind of gold. And he even mentioned that Step 3 is Tokyo Dome. But he seems to be going after the title at King of Pro Wrestling. He made it sound like he was going after the King of Pro Wrestling Championship, and that's why things can get a little confusing. There is a King of Pro Wrestling Championship, and there is a King of Pro Wrestling show on October 14th, 1 week prior to Royal Quest 4 in London. He wants to come to London with the title. Okay, so he wants to pull a Gunther, basically, is what we're hearing. Lot to discuss, because the traditionalist in me is saying, yeah, no, this is kind of a mistake. But I get it. We're trying to keep things really fresh in New Japan. Naito may be kind of on the verge of dropping the title. And there are even questions about who would face Sabre. Should Sabre win the title and take it to Wrestle Kingdom in January? So, a couple things here. I read through some of the articles. I'll start right off. Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated. He pointed out, unlike past winners, however, Sabre is not going to challenge for the belt at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th at Tokyo Dome. Instead, he will wrestle reigning champion Tetsuya Naito at the King of Pro Wrestling show on October 14th. Takes place prior to Royal Quest, which is scheduled for October 20th. Points out, Naito already lost and regained the title this year in a feud with Jon Moxley. Will New Japan Pro Wrestling bring in another AEW star to wrestle Sabre at Wrestle Kingdom? So we're already suggesting that Sabre is going to take the title from Naito. It's already it's given. They're stating it like it's already done. It's already set in stone, which is a little pretentious. It's a little presumptuous, if you will. I don't necessarily think that you can just say, "Oh yeah, Sabre's totally going to win." Things can change. New Japan is known for swerving you when you think you know what's going on. So we really don't know. He may very well go up to Khan, and I still feel like he was referring to the King of Pro Wrestling title, but I could be completely wrong. And and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But they're pointing out some things like the most obvious choice is Bryan Danielson, especially since the two split their last two matches and a trilogy bout awaits. Okay, that would make sense. Bryan Danielson already has a main event at All In London. Should he maybe perhaps win the title, maybe Zack Sabre would make an appearance. And I guess this all kind of follows up on Bryan Danielson's farewell tour, as he's not retiring, he is retiring from competing on a regular basis. Okay. It's also important to note AEW is holding a pay-per-view in Japan on January 5th with Wrestle Dynasty. Could Danielson Sabre headline that show? Yes, that might make a little more sense. We'll see. Would Kazuchika Okada, who is now signed with AEW, be an option for the Tokyo Dome main event? There are a couple of options from within New Japan, like a rematch of the G1 Finals with Tsuji, or it could be Shota Umino or Yuya Uemura, both of whom have to be among the leading candidates, yet feel at least a year away. There's no clear-cut choice, which might actually be the whole point. One person you didn't mention is Konosuke Takeshita, who is essentially the star of G1 Climax. He was the clear-cut kind of star if it wasn't for that bum leg. Speaking of Konosuke Takeshita, okay, we've got Eric Mutter of Wrestling Inc. quoting Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer Radio, and that Meltzer seconded the praise that Takeshita had received during the G1 and noted that the AEW DDT star loved being a part of the tournament. Meltzer further speculated that in a scenario where Takeshita would remain in Japan and work for New Japan full-time, he would have the opportunity to be the guy in both New Japan or Japanese wrestling in general. Those hoping for Takeshita to conquer Japan may have to wait, as all indications are he will be returning to compete in AEW now that the G1 Climax has ended. Okay, so yes, it's so obvious. He very much, throughout, anybody who's watching this G1 could tell you that Konosuke looked like he could be the guy in New Japan if he was signed to them. So a lot can happen between now and January, okay? We may very well see a Takeshita rising in New Japan sooner than we expect. However, the promotion, AEW, is currently obviously set for UK for All In, culminating in All In this Sunday. Okay, we've got, of course, Wembley Stadium. Takeshita is currently not scheduled for the show, though he could be an entrant in the multi-man casino gauntlet match, where the winner will receive an AEW World Championship shot. Okay, so you're going to shoot him straight to the moon, huh? Okay, here's the thing. If he was, let's say, put into that gauntlet match and he didn't win, that would be a complete disrespect to the guy after all the work that he put in New Japan. That'd be like saying, okay, you don't even get a match. You get a little appearance in our little battle royal, but you're not going to win it. So yes, he would certainly have to win it. But here's the other problem. Okay, so you're going to shoot him straight to the champion, and you better be willing to pull the trigger and give him the title. Otherwise, he's just food for the current champ. He's just a stepping stone at that point. So what you really need to do is build this guy back up with some serious wins and a serious storyline, as he is gunning for a significant title in New Japan, in AEW. Otherwise, just bring him to New Japan. Let him go already, and let him make some appearances in AEW and make it happen. Because you are wasting talent, is what you are doing if that is not the case. Okay? Now, Joseph Lee of 411 Mania, he made some sense here. He said New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced an IWGP World Heavyweight title match for New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Pro Wrestling. The event happens on October 14th. G1 Climax winner Zack Sabre will face either Tetsuya Naito or Great Khan. Those two will face each other at Destruction in Kobe a month before. So we don't even know what's going to happen until we get to Destruction in Kobe. We still, because we know that Great Khan will face Naito. And that's going to take place. I do have a feeling that Naito's going to win and get his win back from G1. And we could very well see a triple threat at King of Pro Wrestling between Khan, Naito, and Zack Sabre Jr. That would make a little bit of sense. I don't necessarily feel this urge, I like some of these people are talking about on social media. They feel compelled to assume that Zack Sabre Jr. is going to Royal Quest 4 as the champion. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, hold up for a second, before you get there, okay? Because, many of us that watched G1 and, of course, Wrestle Kingdom, we actually kind of enjoyed the, progression from G1 to get to Wrestle Kingdom, knowing that was the guy that they're building up. Nothing wrong with that. And at the same time, you shouldn't be making assumptions about who will be the next guy to face Sabre at Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP Championship when he hasn't even won the damn thing. So we have some ways to go. But that being said, Sean Rudder of Cage Side Seats, he stated that New Japan has an entire tour before King of Pro Wrestling, though, and reigning IWGP World Champion Tetsuya Naito will defend the belt at the show that culminates on that tour, of course. Great-O-Khan gets that shot by virtue of beating him during the round-robin portion of the G1. Yes, as does as does Evil, technically, even though he's a piece of crap in the ring. I mean, that's Evil. It's your boy. I love him. But even Evil got a win over Naito. Shingo Takagi got a win over Naito. And of course, Sabre, yes, got a win over Naito. But there's just a lot going on. You can't just kind of assume that it's just going straight to King Royal Quest 4 with that title. So that's all I'm saying on that. Do I think that Sabre could very well win? Yes. Do I think that he should? That remains to be seen. I mean, if it's built right, I think we're really racing here. But if it's built up right, great. Let's do it. Okay, and let's have a great match and let's see what happens. And I would look forward to seeing what they do to get an opponent for Sabre at Wrestle Kingdom. Because you're not just going to give it to some AEW guy who hasn't done shit to get to that point. Okay, oh, I'm challenging you. No, you've got to be able to have some sort of fight. Now, I get it. The winner of the G1 Climax, if it was the IWGP champion, he gets to choose his opponent for Wrestle Kingdom. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. being the winner of the G1 Climax, would he have that option should he win the IWGP Championship? Should there be another bout of a kind of a tournament or something to kind of build up to see who would be a worthy opponent? Bryan Danielson, he does hold a win over Sabre, so we're kind of getting there. That would make sense. But again, we are rushing things. So on that note, I mean, I do think that we'll get a little bit more. I'm definitely looking forward to Royal Quest. Make no mistake about it. I'm going to try to get there if I can. I mean, it's an 8-hour ride to get to London from here, where I am. But there are some other things to consider. We have Road to Destruction, a whole tour of Road to Destruction. One of the matches I'm looking forward to, now it's set, Yoshihashi, okay? He's supposed to be having a match against David Finlay as a result of his pin over David Finlay on the finals card event. So that's going to happen. I want to look at some of the other things that I saw on the internet. We've got some other matches set. We've got Yota Tsuji versus Jeff Cobb for the world title. That's going to be on September 8th. That's one of the first big matches looking for. That's going to be cool. We got the never openweight title. I said it. Hiromu is going to face Sonori. That will be a wild one. Good luck to Hiromu Takahashi. If he can pull it out, that would be interesting. And then here it is, the match that we've been looking forward to, okay, that I've been looking forward to, wondering when this one was going to get set. The IWGP Junior title. Doki versus Ishimori. And that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a very good match. I think Taiji's going to, I think Ishimori's going to take it. But Doki's looking good. Make no mistake about it. And then you've got, what else you've got? You got something else going on with, I know, I'm just looking at this other thing with Evil and whatnot. They say Kazushi Sakuraba returns. Okay, got to look into that. Not too familiar with that. But essentially, Tanahashi, Yano, Oleg, they're going to take on House of Torture for the never open. That's the thing I was looking at, for the never open weight 6-man tag team championship. Okay, that'll be cool. I could see Evil and Yujiro Takahashi and Dick Togo. Man, you think you could have put in Yoshinobu Kanemaru in there or Ren Narita in there? That would have made a lot more sense than Dick Togo to have the title. But hey, let's not take away from anything from Dick Togo. He's a great performer, okay? I give him all mad props for his work in House of Torture. Okay, on that note, guys, I'm going to let you go. Give me some questions. Give me some answers. What do you think? Is this right? You want to give it to Sabre already? That's fine. Give it to Sabre. Do you think he's going to win the title and then walk into Royal Quest 4? Do you think Great-O-Khan's going to defeat Naito? Do you think Naito is going to somehow press on through all this stuff, and we're going to get Sabre versus Naito at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's it. Any other comments on the other matches leading up to, throughout Destruction in Kobe? Lot to cover. I will be back on later this week. Definitely giving you a little bit of predictions for AEW All In. There's some stuff to talk. I will cover that review with Jonathan at Bad Guy Wrestling on Sunday. And until next time, guys, take care.